think with Marvin Harrison Jr. and a healthy Kyler Murray?
Look, I think they have a chance to be really good, like one of the surprise stories of this entire season. If you look at the way the Cardinals offense performed once Kyler Murray got back last year, from weeks 10 on when he returned from his injury, they were top 10 in the league in yards per game. They were top 12 in the league in points per game. They were second in the league in rushing yards per game. So that offense can function. Add in maybe the best player in the entire draft and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think this is a sneaky offense to watch. I don't know about their defense, but I think Arizona could score a lot of points.
Okay, so I agree. I think that they can be a really good to great team. I think a lot of people have, I don't want to say slept on Kyler, but they've abandoned Kyler at this point. Because when we think about kind of what happened with him, there was kind of the drama with the whole idea of it's been a few rough seasons from a narrative perspective. Okay, he kind of came out the gate and was pretty electric and was kind of as advertised, and he had a couple great seasons and moments that people were really high on. And then through injury and getting banged up, it kind of started to degrade. And then we saw some of the footage of like Kyler yelling at his coach, Cliff Kingsbury, and all of those things. And, at one point they were like 8-0 or 8-1 or whatever. And then things unraveled. And then Kyler's in the playoffs and has a terrible rookie, not rookie, but his first year in the playoffs, has a terrible outing. It was just kind of a disaster and all that. Then he signs his deal, which is for a ton of money. But then there's the whole thing about like, hey, they needed to add in the contract that he needs to study more. He plays video games too much and this, that, and the third. And then that became kind of disastrous, right? It was kind of like, well, does Kyler Murray take it seriously? Does he care? Does he study film? Is he a good quarterback? Like, what's going on here? Will he ever be as great as he can? And there was like all that back and forth. And then he gets injured, right? And it's like, that's obviously tragic. He gets injured, he blows out his knee, and you're just like, oh my God. And then the Cardinals continue to unravel, and they fire their coach, and their GM leaves for personal issues, whatever it may be. And then they get terrible ratings from the body that evaluates all the teams. And, they have like bad facility, bad ownership, bad. And then now they start this new season coming up, the last season, and they have a new coach and all that. But obviously, they don't have their starting quarterback, so they don't play really well. It's like kind of just kind of sloppy, not good. They have a couple interesting wins, but like nothing too crazy about it. I'm sure if you're a Cardinals fan, right, you're looking for the positive, so I get that. But I'm just saying, generally, you're not like, oh, they're gonna make moves. Like, no. Then they get Kyler Murray back, and naturally, it's gonna take a minute or two to kind of get things rolling and get things going. So it's just like so many people have kind of have seen that and experienced that. And it's just kind of like, who the heck are the Cardinals? Who's even their coach? I don't even know. He was an Eagles defensive coordinator or something. Like, is he a good coach? I don't even know who that guy is. And Kyler Murray, like, isn't he now already like old and injured? Like, we got these new shiny objects like Jordan Love and CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams, right? Like, the general fans have moved on, right? Kyler Murray was that new shiny flashy toy, but all because of the reason that I've just outlined. It's just like, whatever, throw him to the side. I'm focusing on CJ Stroud and Jordan Love now, and Brock Purdy even, right? Like, that's where the minds go. Now again, if you're a legitimate Cardinals fan, that's probably not your experience. So I'm definitely talking mainly through the eyes of like the media and through like a kind of more casual general fan. And that's why I do want to talk now specifically to the Cardinals fans of like, do you still have that loyalty and trust in Kyler Murray? Are you expecting him to bounce back and be the great athlete and quarterback that and expect him to be? Because if you are, then I'm failing to see why they won't be able to kind of make some moves and be pretty darn good. Right? That offense should be quite potent, and your head coach is defensive minded and should have that defense going in the right direction and being more competitive. And it will be interesting that if you have a good defense with a Kyler Murray, can Kyler Murray play that complementary football where now Kyler doesn't have to do some of the heavy load carrying and play complementary football? We know without a doubt, and I say this, it feels like almost nearly every video, how important that is. And that we lose sight with some of these big, flashy, potent offenses of the idea of what complementary football looks like. And right now, the best example we have is what the Kansas City Chiefs did last season. That was complementary football. They didn't make Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes for the vast majority of the season. They needed him to be Patrick Mahomes occasionally, and that's what then gets them over the hump. But besides that, they relied on minimizing mistakes and building that lead off of a great defense. And I'm not saying that's necessarily the Cardinals' path forward, because I think it's too early to tell what their team is going to look like until we actually see them actually play, right? And the sustained health of all of their various players. But I definitely don't see the Cardinals going in the wrong direction, right? Like, there's some teams that I'm still like, oh my God, what are you doing? And everybody wants to pretend like they're going in the right direction, whether it be the Titans or the Giants or, any of these other teams. But I think the Cardinals, and again, it's too hard to really gauge just how successful, how great they will be, at least from my viewpoint. I'm not prepared to make any strong decisions or predictions with that regard, but I am confident in that they are going in the right direction, that they're not going in the wrong direction, and that they're improving, and that they should be significantly better. And so what that looks like in practice in a highly competitive NFL season, at least what it seems like it's going to be, I'm really excited to see, because I think the Cardinals at the minimum are going to be a team that like nobody really wants to face. Nobody wants to go up against a Kyler Murray. Like it's going to be tough, and at any moment you can get lit up, right? Like I think that is the type of offense that the Cardinals will have. And so to me, it'll really come down to who are they consistently and who are they at their floor. Because I think they're going to be able to have moments where they are unbelievable and great, and you're like, oh my God, that's unbelievable. Like, Kyler Murray's reminding everyone who he is. But how consistently can he be good and great, as well as what their general floor is? Because is their floor like, oh my God, that's awful, they need to like hit the reset button already, right? Like, to me, that's more of the question surrounding the Cardinals. But I think there should be a lot of optimism around this organization. And like I said, I think they are going in the right direction, even though it seems it's a little bit harder to see because of how the last two seasons unfolded. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think the Cardinals can be really good, especially that offense? And do you think they could like actually make a run and maybe make the playoffs and even win a playoff game or two? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.